Did you ever have to choose between a friend and your partner? Did it ever happen that your partner helped you see that your friend is not being the best friend? Or did you look back, or do you look back and you're like, Biz, my partner effed me up. Like, they isolated me as chef's kiss. What about if you get in a situation where both your partner and your friend are not good for you? Now, how do you get out of that freaking pickle? You know how we do it here? We narrate, we analyze, we often judge, and we like to believe that we know better and would do better. Okay. Hopefully. You know what's the one thing that we all kind of like when a new relationship starts, but it's at that phase when you're like, you know what, you and me, we good, so let's try this. It is the feeling of this is stable. There is no up and down. Will he text me? Will he not? How are we gonna even interact, see each other, blah, blah, blah. No. It's just smooth sailing. And that's exactly how Joe feels with his new girlfriend, Beck. He loves their mornings, sex, shower, and breakfast. That's what Beck craves. Beck never had any consistency. I mean, her life was a little bit more rocky. And Joe wants to reassure that she knows what it is to have consistency. He wants her to feel good and safe and not worried about things.
I protect your time. I let you focus on your work.
When everything around her is good, when she is with the right person, she can focus on doing her own things. She can finally focus on writing because that's the most important thing. For Beck to follow her purpose. And that's what Joe does. The only thing that he doesn't really like about these mornings is
they always end.
They end, and he just needs to wait until Beck comes back home. But there is a good side to it. She's teaching him patience, which he kind of needs right now. You know, he doesn't have much patience when it comes to hanging out with her friends. According to him, it's torture. They are the most annoying bunch he has to tolerate for the sake of the relationship. Yay! Side note, Mary, just because Joe is problematic, to say the least, please don't think consistency in a relationship is bad. Or if a man is trying to help you, support you, that you need to run for it, okay? It is good. That's the beauty of Joe. He shows us both sides, the good sides, and then he puts on a little bit of spice so it makes it a little bit more creepy. What? We all have the yin and yang. Is that even the right reference? Like the good and the bad? Though, you know, hopefully not the vibe. Now, the worst thing when it comes to Beck and her friends is the crap they watch.
How can self-respecting women tolerate this crap?
How can any self-respecting woman watch Bachelorette? Yes, I felt called out. Haven't you? And look, I'm going to be honest. In the past, I also kind of felt ashamed when I would be caught watching stupid shit. Today, I'm like proud of it, okay? This is my guilty pleasure and suck it. If I want to watch a little scripted reality and pretend that it's real, that's exactly what I'm gonna do, okay? I will not be shamed for it and neither should you. Also, read some books.
Sometimes I swear I'm the only real feminist you know.
Yes, you heard that right. A man who knows exactly what Beck needs, how Beck should live this life, what are her problems, and how he knows how to solve them, also believes he is a feminist. The freedom of choice? Well, not if you're a dum-dum, then you need a man to tell you what's good for you, right? And don't you worry, Joe has exact list of how you will get there. But as much as Joe cannot stand Beck's friends, there is one that he has a particular problem with. It is Peach.
Peach goddamn Salinger.
He knows she has it out for him. And here's the thing, he can't really blame her. Okay, he stole a book when he was at her place, but then he returned it, okay? So does that count for anything? Besides, that's not even the point. The point is that as long as Joe is gonna be a perfect partner to Beck, then she will realize how toxic all of her friends are. And don't get it twisted. It's not like Joe is not trying to like these friends.
I'm trying, Beck. I am. But your friends bring out the worst in me.
Oh, Mary, the dilemma of friendships and your partner not liking them. Huh? Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever experienced being in a relationship where your friends and your partner do not get along? Or simply, your partner hates them? If you have, what was your reality? What was the reality at the end of it all? Because here's the thing, it's not so black and white, right? On one hand, you can say, oh, if your partner makes you lose all your friends and he's the only person that you have in your life, red flags, okay? Ding, 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 it is not good. But then there is also this other thing. When maybe you do have some bad people around yourself, and when you meet someone or when you are with your partner, they give you that courage to actually let go of those bad friendships, right? So having that in mind, how I would evaluate if I'm with someone who is more and more isolating me versus someone who is genuinely just helping me to have better people around myself, first of all, would be a clear reason why. Why don't they like this particular person, or how do they see this particular person hurting you? And then, challenge yourself and him or her about the truth to that. The second thing is it everyone? Whoever you come in contact with, whoever is a part of your life, there's something wrong with them and they need to walk away, according to your partner. Now, if that's the case, if according to your partner, all of your friends, there's something wrong with them, how confident you are that your partner is also not one of those people? I mean, if all of your choices about who you're hanging out with are so wrong, how come the choice of getting with this particular partner is the right choice? Think about it. But let's say that you always felt uneasy around certain friends that you have, and you felt that, passive, aggressive, bad behavior, bullying, I'm joking, but I'm actually insulting you, or it's always about them. If that's the reality, and then you meet someone who you get along and you kind of want to step away from those friendships, it does not mean that you shouldn't be proactive in seeking new friendships. That's what I would do. I would just try to get new friends in some way. The worst thing it is when you just get stuck with your partner, because that feeds even more into this being your identity. I've talked about it many times, the you in the us. Yes, the relationship, it's important, but also you as an individual person are important, not just the part that it's in a relationship. And I think that, I'm going to just talk for myself, but I do know that it's not so uncommon feeling or experience when it's all about the relationship. And when that relationship ends, you feel so alone because the only thing you had is gone. And it does take much more effort for you to recover, to find yourself, to establish that you are worthy also outside the relationship. And that could be prevented if we take care of ourselves even when we are in a relationship. And it does not mean that you're betraying your partner. It just means that you are taking care of yourself and the partnership. Now, as much as Joe wants to slowly eliminate all of Beck's friends, there is a friend that actually likes Joe. She is not like Pete. She's not trying to plot against him. She does actually find him good for Beck. She is an influencer though. So you know what Joe thinks about that. I mean, yes, it is nice that she's trying to support his bookstore by taking a selfie and posting it on Instagram to all of her followers so his business could grow. But also, it's all false empowerment. It's all fake.
Annika's turning her curves into an empire, inspiring the ladies, arousing the gentlemen. Everyone wins.
And as much as Annika could be empowering, Joe sees right through her. It's all a rebellion against Peach. You see, Peachy is not so peachy also to Annika. She wastes no time mocking her weight or her body whenever she gets a chance. So to Joe, this feels like just a perfect opportunity to spark a little bit more divide between the two of them. I mean, it's clear that they don't like each other, so, he's just helping out. A little scroll and jackpot. What is that? Annika and Peach on a picture together, and Peach's nose does not look like Peach. Wait, that's wrong.
Hello, nose job.
And Joe, as a good friend, just tries to make Annika see how she can do things without checking with Peach first.
Annika, why the hell is this not on your Insta?
Like what? Is she not a woman of her own? She can do what she wants, and why wouldn't she post this fun throwback time picture on her Insta?
You're right. Screw it. This is the ultimate throwback.
Oh, when you need to prove that you are a strong and independent woman, of course you need to go against other women. Don't you know how feminism works?
Team Joe, 1, Peach, 0.
Beck would be proud. I mean, he is helping her friend Annika to get back at Peach for all of those nasty comments. If that's not a good partner helping your friend, he doesn't know what is. Or maybe he's just setting the playfield in his favor. The only thing that is actually important is him and Beck. And not only that, it's becoming 2-0. You see, Peach wanted to do the girls' night out, but Beck chose spending time with Joe. I mean,
Joe, 2, Peach, Buckus.
So here's the thing. For Joe, in a relationship, what's important is who is the most important for the person you are with. In this case, who has the most impact on Beck, or who has more control over her. It's him against Peach. It is clear that Joe does not actually want to know or accept Beck for who Beck is. It's all about who he thinks she is, so she can fulfill his fantasy. For example, if her friends are bad, it's not that Beck is maybe the same, right? That she's actually compatible with these people. That's her crowd. No. It's because Beck just hangs out with wrong people. Beck does not like one stance. Beck just needs someone who can guide her in the right way. Beck is not someone who is attracted to status. No, she's just lost and she needs help. Now, is that true? That Beck really isn't all of those things and she's just in the wrong place at the wrong time or being influenced by wrong things? Could be. It could also be that no, she is all of those things. She's the same as her friends. She does like status and she does like one-night stands. Whatever the case is, the main thing is that it is not for Joe to decide. It is not for Joe to decide who Beck is and who Beck isn't. He's into Beck because of what she represents. The idea of the one and him being the savior. And if you don't believe me, well, let's see what's a perfect date for Joe. He's actually planning one with Beck.
The theme of our evening is Fitzgerald and Zelda.
Ooh, which one of us is Zelda?
Me, obviously.
He was inspired by Zelda and Fitzgerald, the writer. If you don't know the story, Zelda inspired Fitzgerald to be the writer that he became. She was the one who made sure that he fulfilled his purpose and his talent. And that's according to Google, because I have no idea who these people are. Yeah, maybe I should stop watching reality TV and focus more on books. And that's exactly who Joe is. That's the purpose he has. He needs to be the one who inspires Beck to be the great Beck that she is supposed to be. Yes, she has the talent, but he's the one who's going to make her great. Now, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this whole muse thing and inspiring others to be successful. And with that, I also want to talk about the other side of being a bad partner, or the other variation when the relationship is not the best. You see, the easiest thing in recognizing when the relationship is not good or you're not actually good for one another is if one of you feels like they are being put down, dismissed. Their autonomy is being taken away in some way. And maybe you just see this person almost as miserable, or things don't go well in their life. And you kind of see that their partner has a very strong hold on them. But then there's this other side. There is this relationship dynamic when you feel like your life is getting better. You are actually doing things that you wanted to do, and you feel good about it, right? Your partner is helping you with that. But somehow you miss how this partner truly believes that it's all because of them. They are the reason why you are even successful. Because if you were on your own, you could never do what you did. You could never achieve what you have. It's a different type of putting someone down. It does not matter that you're the one who's doing the actions. It does not matter, for example, in this case, that Beck is actually a talented writer. None of that doesn't matter, because what matters is the inspiration this person gave you. Joe creating a perfect date around this theme shows you that he loves to support Beck and make Beck someone, because it means that he is someone. It's not about her talent. It's not about believing in her. It's about him being a part of that journey, and not just a part of it, but catalyst to it. Yes, I got that promotion, and my boss is such a good person to let me have that promotion. We are the company who has 20% of our managerial positions a woman. Yay! What's that? They're capable? Yes, of course they're capable. But that's not the point. The point is that we are doing the right thing, huh? So that's also a thing that we should have in mind. A bad partner for you is not just someone who directly puts you down. It's also someone who presents themselves as the biggest cheerleader, but in reality, there's this subliminal expectation that that's only because you are with them. And just to be clear, talking about friendships also, it goes beyond just a romantic relationship. Now, what I think could help us in differentiating between someone just being a supportive partner and someone being, supportive but not really, is if there is a genuine support, then there is no sense of condition to how much they support you. I say, oh my God, I'm so happy I finally made this happen. And then this person says, yeah, you see how good it was when I pushed you to do this? Of course, it can be just now and then as a simple, that day you wanted to procrastinate, but I helped you to do this, or I made sure that we still finish something. Yes, but when it becomes constant, that's when it's not a genuine support. If someone is celebrating your successes because of you, that's a genuine support, no matter how they support it and how much they helped. If someone is encouraging your growth and autonomy, even if it means that you're going to be more independent from them, then that is a genuine support. But if someone is doing it and in the same way reassuring that you feel dependent on them, then that's not a genuine support. If you constantly feel like you owe them something, you owe them from your progress, and they also feed into that, then, it's not good. And here's the thing. No one is perfect, and it's not so black and white. We are always two people coming together or more people coming together, and there is, sometimes you're going to do good, sometimes you're going to do bad. But what I think is important is if we have this awareness that this can happen, then you can clock yourself when you do it. If your partner does something and then you almost want to say, you see, just think about it and say, is this really now about me or is it about them? And you can say, shit, man, why am I focused on myself? Like, I really want to be better for my partner. Or if your partner does that you clock it and you say, hey, that didn't feel good, and it didn't feel good because of this, this, and that. And then, as I always say, you observe their reaction, right? Not observe, but you see how they react. Are they being defensive, or are they actually open in understanding how something could be, taken wrong or not being a real support, and how to reassure that both of you feel good. When you have an open, transparent conversation, it can actually help you understand if this person is being manipulative, like on purpose, they don't even see if they do something wrong, or is just a moment of weakness or selfishness, or sometimes when we are dealing with our own cravings to feel good or validated, we might, play into some patterns that are not the best. In the case of Joe, though, he whack. But the excitement for the perfect date is to be crashed.
Hey, Annika. Whoa. What's wrong? What video?
You see, Annika, the friend that Joe so generously helped to get back at Peach by posting her old nose photos on social media, is in trouble. You see, out of nowhere, someone anonymously posted a video where Annika is drunk and she is saying some racist shit. She is getting canceled and Beck needs to be with her.
But the timing, Beck, a video from college today in response to Annika taking a stand against Peach? Connect the damn dots.
I have to go. Annika's having...
Beck is a good friend and Joe is a good boyfriend. So he gets it. He understands. Now, I'm going to be honest. I was a little bit surprised that Joe wasn't pissed that now this situation happened and their perfect date is ruined. But here's also the thing. He's realizing that, he made an oopsie. He did underestimate Peach. And he admits that this time, Peach scored. But here's the thing. He also learned another thing about Peach. She cruel. And yes, today is Annika.
Tomorrow could be you, us.
It can be them. It's the next day and Joe is a little bit upset because he cannot start his usual morning routine, which is, looking after Beck, because he is a runner now. Yes, Biz. Also, Joe fell for the sprint. But I'm being a little bit unfair. You see, for Joe, it's not about exercise, which clearly is with all these influencers that start to run, right? You see, he has a new routine. This time is to follow Peach.
Keep your friends close and your enemies. Keep losing your enemies because you're so goddamn out of shape.
He has one mission and one mission only. He needs to get rid of Peach before Peach gets rid of him or Beck. The problem is that Peach is already making herself more valuable to Beck. You see, her family has an agency and she has connections and she can get a meeting with some kind of publisher for Beck's book.
So I was going to call a friend, Roger Stevens.
Roger Stevens.
Somehow it never crossed her mind to help her friend. But now when Beck is slipping away in this new relationship, now she's bringing out the big guns, the conexiones. Was that wrong? Or maybe the fact that Beck is being offered to write for a magazine, maybe that put the fire under Peach's ass. Because how can she have control over her then? What are friends for, if not to get their shit together and try to help you when they have the sense of you slipping away and maybe not needing them anymore? Yeah, Peach and Joe are similar, but we'll get to that. So Peach gets to work. She's gonna organize a party at Joe's bookstore where this guy is gonna come, Beck can meet him, and the mingling starts. Now, Joe is not the most excited about this. I mean, he does not want his bookstore to turn into some, high-class mingling, clinging champagnes, but at least it gives him a chance to get to know Peach a little bit better. And boom, he's in the basement going through Peach's bag. She left it unattended upstairs, so that was his opportunity. Now, unfortunately, unlike Beck, Peach actually uses passwords. Okay. And he does not have any success of getting or hacking the laptop. But there is a positive thing. You see, Peach is also a little bit old-fashioned. There's a diary inside. And when Joe opens it, well.
Food diary. Christ, is there no end to the neuroses?
He's about to close the diary. And Biz, what is that? A picture of Beck?
How old were you when this was taken, Beck? And what is Peach doing with it?
He's back upstairs and he gets to know Peach even better. You see, he overhears her talking with this publisher guy about how, she doesn't really believe that Beck is ready to actually publish a book, but
Be gentle, turning her down.
clearly, Peach is trying to sabotage Beck's career, and Joe is not having it. But the question is why? Why is Peach doing this? Isn't she supposed to help Beck? Why is she sabotaging her? He needs to get that password.
And I have to know why.
Ring, ring. It's Beck. She is informing Joe that Peach is at his apartment, trashing it. You know what she's looking for? You know what she is looking for? Her freaking laptop. Yes, biz. Joe comes home and he is shook it. Why would Peach automatically think that he is the one who stole it? Like, what the hell? And when he expects Beck to stand up for him, saying no, he wouldn't do that, he's a little upset that Beck doesn't do it. She's just like, you know what, this is not my problem. You need to resolve it.
I don't know. I mean, of course you didn't. Please don't put me in the middle of this.
Biz what? Mary, let me tell you, even when I was looking this, I was like, wait a second. You and me both know that Joe is a psycho, okay? And he stole the laptop, obviously. But looking from Beck's perspective, she doesn't know that. So how the fuck are you in a relationship with someone? This person gets accused of stealing and you're like, I don't know. Maybe you did. I was shocked. I was a little bit like, this does not make sense. And I'm like, Beck, what are you even doing with him? But then if you look at it a little bit closely, if we put on our objective glasses, which, we lose them many times. This is a man that Beck just started dating, right? She's getting to know him. And this is her friend who she knows for a long time. And there is some kind of weird relationship going between the two of them. You can't resent Beck that she doesn't want to get into it, or let's say better, that she doesn't just outright defend Joe. That maybe she doesn't know him that well to say that maybe he wasn't that, which honestly, let me say this. When you watch those documentaries about how someone fell for someone and how their friends warned them and they stood by their partner and so on, how many times were you losing your mind and saying, Biz, your friend is telling you the truth. Why don't you listen to her? But then now when Beck is actually doing that, we're looking at this and we're like, this doesn't feel right. She should defend Joe in some way, shouldn't she? Like, if you think about it, this show is messing with us left and right. What does make me go a little bit like, I don't like it, is the passiveness that Beck has. You see, let's say that Beck doesn't really want to take any side. I would expect her to be a little bit more active. Joe, I most definitely believe that you didn't steal anything. But I also don't see why would Peach lie about something like this. Make these two people kind of come together and let's figure this shit out, what's happening. The fact that she's like, I don't want to deal with it, shows that Beck is avoidant. She does not like confrontation. You have people who just shy away from conflict because they don't really want to get into it. Now, there is a difference in not wanting to get into it because you don't see it worth it. So you still have your opinion, but you're not going to go into discussing it with someone. You accept, for example, that you agree to disagree, and that's okay. I don't want to have this conflict. There is another thing when you are avoiding conflict, but it results in you distancing from that person, not ever expressing what you actually want, or even being very submissive, right? Starting to please people. And the problem is because that's basically a missed opportunity to set healthy boundaries. Because if you avoid conflict just because it makes you feel uncomfortable, you're also avoiding forming a good relationship. You're maybe putting things under the rug and, the rug at some point is just going to slide down and everything will be revealed. And then you fuck. Now, the other thing could be that she does not want to get involved because at this point, Beck is benefiting from both of them. She benefits with being friends with Peach, especially when she now has this connection with this publisher. And on the other side, her relationship with Joe is also beneficial for her. She sees how her life is actually getting better. So why would she now take sides when that's not good for her? But what do you think? Why is Beck in this moment so passive? Like, she doesn't want to get into it and it is what it is. But Biz, luckily for Joe, he knows how to get out of a pickle. I mean, first of all, it was a big party. And second of all, maybe she has someone else that's kind of creeping after
You're
her.
very pretty. You're a Salinger.
It wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't. Hallelujah.
Little did he know that he just scored a jackpot. Biz Peach did have a little stalker in the past. Now, when it comes to Joe, you know that saying, the best way to hide is in plain sight? Mary, isn't Joe doing exactly that? He literally outed himself, right? He said, maybe there's someone who's creeping up on you, stalking you a little bit. And because it is so unbelievable that someone who is doing that would actually say it, he immediately takes away the focus from him. Because what we are used to is, or what we are told, is that if someone is doing something wrong, they will try to do everything to not maybe even talk about that thing, to deviate, to deflect in some way, right? But the thing is that bitches evolved, okay? It's like animals, they adapt to the situation. So I guess people who used to hide from what they were doing by, not even mentioning it or like saying, oh, that's crazy if someone would do that. Now they're like, oh yeah, someone is doing that. And because we're like, well, if he would be doing that, they would not say it. You're actually hidden in plain sight. It's a perfect opportunity for Joe to acknowledge that there is a creep, right? But takes away the focus away from him. He even suggests for Peach to check where is the computer, the find my computer thingy. And voila, it is at Peach's place.
Peach, isn't that your place?
She didn't really think I'd be dumb enough to bring her laptop here, did she?
Peach leaves Joe's apartment, and it is time for Joe to confront Beck about this passiveness that she showed. How come she didn't defend him? Like, what the fuck was that? Beck doesn't want to get into it because the two of them are always in each other's throats and she's just like over it. Like, you handle it. You're adults. But Joe doesn't get it. Can't she see how Peach is after him, or she has it out for him since the beginning? And he really doesn't understand how Beck is so blind to how vindictive Peach is. Like, what the fuck is that? Now, the one who's getting upset is Beck. Because if Joe hates her friend so much, why the F is he hanging out with them?
You know what? If you hate my friend so much, why do you hang out with them?
Because you force me to.
But it's simple. If he wouldn't even see Beck. Side note, if you feel like the only time you can spend with your person is if you hang out also with their people, I mean, yeah, no. Questionable. Beck does not have time for this conversation and she's just gonna walk away.
You know what? I don't have time for this. I was supposed to send my pages to Roger Stevens.
Now Joe is boiling in and he's like,
He doesn't care.
He finally tells Beck that this guy does not care about Beck and he is not planning to sign her up because it's all a setup. He overheard Peach and they are just kind of playing with her. Now, you know that I'm all about expressing yourself. Say it how it is. But what people sometimes fail to see is that there is the right way of saying things and there is the risky way of saying things. And when you say things that you think in anger, when you shout it, when it's almost seen as a defense, it will never be received well. Because if you actually cared about this person and cared about the situation, like that's how the receiving person could feel, you would actually approach it in a nice, genuine way. But when you blur it out like that, it is clear you're only doing that to kind of get a win on your side. So it could never be a genuine, honest conversation.
You are an asshole.
If he would approach it in a normal way with transparency, because it is real what he is saying, that would allow Beck to actually decide how to go about it, to maybe ask Peach about it, to see what's happening. And then if everyone is just trying to have this sense of control over her or tell her what is the right thing, be it Joe or be it Peach, fuck them all, Close both doors. So how I'm looking at Beck is also, a normal reaction. based on what are Beck's experiences. She has the experience that she couldn't trust her dad. Then the experience with Benji. He cheated on her. Then the experience with the teacher, where he wants like sexual favors in return for her work there. And now she has Joe, a new partner, who just shouts it like that, like she's the most stupid person, and how can she see certain things?
You know, if you don't believe in me, just say so. Don't come up with some bullshit conspiracy theory.
The only way she can see this is him being the bad guy. Another man who is just trying to step all over her.
Wait, no, I'm telling the truth.
You're allowed to be jealous of Roger.
The attitude is very immature. It's very like, girl, you know. But again, this is a consequence of how she expects men to be when it comes to her. That they will try to, in some way, put her down. But if you add on that, even the very reality that she is trying to prove to herself and she is trying to advance this career, it is probably very difficult for her to allow herself to believe that this publisher is actually the same type of guy. Because what does she have if she actually accepts this, or if she believes Joe? In some way, her believing Joe right now, looking past the anger, would mean that she needs to accept that maybe this opportunity of signing with this publisher is not a real opportunity. And she's not ready to accept that. Beck leaves the apartment and Joe is left shooketh.
Our first fight. It was worse than I could have imagined. And it's all thanks to Peach.
Peach deserves a punishment for coming between the two of them. But he can't. Like, he can't, just eliminate her. He's not that guy.
I'm an understanding, supportive boyfriend.
Now we see that Joe himself is very avoidant, but also not surprising. Like I said before, whatever indicator that Beck is not who he thinks Beck is, he finds like another reason why, she hangs with certain friends, why she, like I said before, does one night stands and yada yada. It's never Beck's fault, right? But in this very moment, it also cannot be Joe's fault. If he decides that Peach is the one who made this mess, he can again redirect his anger and focus on someone else rather than seeing the relationship for what it is. That him and Beck do not have the best way when it comes to communicating. If he says, Peach is at fault, she is sabotaging us, he doesn't have to acknowledge the problems that Beck and Joe actually have. And I think that is not so uncommon. When you have problems with your person, and instead of acknowledging those problems, you say, you know what? It's that person's fault. They made this happen. And as much as sometimes people do stir up the pot, bring some drama in, if you and your partner actually have a common transparency and respect and know how to talk to one another, then you would resolve things and you wouldn't have to blame someone else. And sometimes it goes even into the let's unite together against the enemy. When you and your partner, instead of recognizing that you need to resolve things, maybe you even come together against that outsider person. And it might feel good, but sometimes, and we need to be aware of these things, sometimes it can just feed into the toxicity even more, and it's not helping the relationship at all. It's not that uncommon, and I think it's because it's kind of easier. It's easier than addressing the real problems, where maybe you also need to work on things. So now Joe needs to figure shit out, right? He needs to fix this thing, and he needs to make sure that Peach is not a problem. We see him observing how Peach leaves the house, and he runs up towards on her porch or whatever, and he goes into her laptop. That's where he hid it. What is the freaking password?
Beckalicious this, Beckalicious that.
There's no way this works. But also, please work. Okay.
Interesting. Joe doesn't really know what he is looking for, but he will once he sees it, okay? It's a play of hide and seek, and he's seeking. And boy, did he suck. No, that's not the right word. There is a folder full of Beck's pictures. And this, the stalking kind.
I know what it's like to be in love with you, Beck. This is not what love looks like. This isn't how love behaves. This is the work of a sick mind.
Beck has two stalkers. People, she is Caucasian blondie. That was rude. Peach is obsessed with Beck. And the more Joe is looking at what he found, the more it makes sense. I mean, growing up in a wealthy family, you need to do what's right, and what isn't right is Peach potential sexuality. So you resent that. You resent that you need to hide until you meet someone who makes you crazy, who you just cannot let go. But this isn't love. No. Joe knows how love looks like, and it ain't this.
She wants to watch you, have you, control you like she controls every other piece of her life. She wants you all to herself.
I guess Joe is oblivious that he found his match. That's why she's sabotaging her. Now, it's very interesting how Joe does not sympathize with Peach at all. He's looking at the situation and he's like, this is a monster. And maybe it's because if he sees Peach as someone who is twisted and sick, he can preserve the image that he is the hero and the good one. Despite both of them being stalkerish, right? Being obsessed with Beck and wanting to control it, if he says, no, Peach is the one who's loco, he can truly believe that what he's doing is out of true love because he wants good for Beck. But he fails to see that he himself is constantly sabotaging Beck. He is sabotaging her autonomy. Now Beck, on the other side, is meeting with Roger, the big shot publisher who will get her signed, I guess. The things don't start well.
Look at you, like a little literary hooker. Get in.
And it doesn't go any better from here. Sure, he loves the pages she's written, but he has to be honest with her. And you know how it is. Honesty comes with putting your hand on the girl's knee.
I think some of your stuff is problematic.
You see, her father was a victim of alcohol, and yet he's trying to put him on trial here. That wouldn't be perceived the best. Beck is a bit confused. What do you mean? My writing wasn't about judgment. It was about forgiveness.
I'm sorry, that is my bad. I skimmed.
Beck is visibly uncomfortable, but she tries to put on a smile and kind of brush it off. But he continues. He starts rubbing her knee and rubbing her legs, and he says, so what's your deal? Like daddy, like daughter? Typical, huh? Another man who does not care about Beck's work unless it's a way for him to get in. But this time it's different. You see, this time Beck has had it.
Ow, shit.
What the hell? What are you doing?
Will you relax?
Whoa, Becky, Beck. Why are you so upset? You need to chill. You need to relax. Do you want some pills? Bis, yes. He offers her pills so she can relax. She refuses, and boom. The rage of a rejected man. The man who created this story in his head, how she's gonna put out because he is a publisher and he can get her in. Now suddenly, her writing is crap.
No wonder I couldn't get through your stuff.
She's also a freaking little bitch.
Peach was right. You have a lot to learn.
You know what? Honestly, I'm kind of over this topic. About not that this is not relevant and this is not important. It's just like I don't have any more tolerance for this expectation of men just because they're in certain positions and because they have certain, they stand in front of certain gates, thinking that that's the ticket in to get whatever they want from a woman, a ticket to her body, to her entertainment. Somewhere along the way, some man adopted this idea that the only thing that it's important, it's money and power. And they turned it into, this allows me to get whatever I want, especially when it comes to women. Okay? I have the right to require that from them because, Biz, I worked hard for this money and power. So what's there not to understand? It's such a weak and pathetic mentality. And I don't even want to discuss it anymore. It's just sit down. Now, Beck, willingly or not willingly, got the confirmation that Peach is not good for her, that this was a setup, exactly what Joe was telling her. She goes to Peach and she confronts her. She has had it.
You set me up. Excuse me?
Now, Peach is trying to say how she didn't mean anything bad. She just wanted to help her and yada-da-da-da. But Beck doesn't even allow her to talk because it's over. This is exhausting.
Joe was right. You live to cut down your friend.
And if she thinks that Beck is gonna back down like Annika does, she got it wrong. You see, Peach is a bad friend. And if she thinks her anonymous stunt of posting that video is anonymous, she got it twisted because Beck was there. Beck saw how Peach was filming Annika. And Beck does not want to associate anymore with Peach. And she walks away.
Beck, come back.
Shutting the door on one toxic person and knocking on the door of the other one.
You were right.
I told you so. I told you so.
I'm so sorry.
Beck is at Joe's place and she needs to apologize to him. You see, he was right. She doesn't understand how he can just see things so clearly, things even she can't see. And they get back together. But their lovey time gets interrupted again.
Peach, what's going on?
Nothing, I just took some pills.
You see, Peach tried to unalive herself, okay? And she needs Beck to come and help her. Joe is rolling his eyes because this mother effing Peach. And we are rolling our eyes together with him, okay? It doesn't feel good, but sometimes you just agree with Joe because this is effed up. They rush to Peach's place and Joe actually takes the opportunity to also return her laptop. But he also notices how Peach recorded or tracked exactly what she had taken.
No way. Peach logged her own suicide?
You can't prove I wrote it all down.
Jesus, Beck. This whole thing is an act.
It's clear. Peach is playing a game. But Joe wants to play also. He offers to take her to the hospital. No. Hospital? No, that's crossing the line. Peach is afraid she's gonna get committed. And the thing is that she just needs Beck to stay with her through the night and that's it. We're looking at Beck and what we see is a little poor fish surrounded by two sharks who play with her and play the game of who's gonna devour her fully. Can you imagine being surrounded by people like this? A toxic friend and a toxic partner, and now you need to figure shit out. If I was put in this situation, I would like to think, I would like to believe that I would step back, look at the situation, and I'll be like, yeah, too much drama. It's too much happening with the two of you. I'm gonna pack my bags, I'm gonna go to Bali and sip pina coladas, okay? Okay. Now Joe tries to bring some senses to Beck. Don't you find it a little bit sus that you just had a fight and now she pulls this shit out? But what Joe doesn't know, this is not the first time that Beck helps Peach.
I've talked her off of a ledge more times than I can count. So when she needs me, she really needs me.
Yes, somehow Beck doesn't see it alarming that Peach did this multiple times, but she rather sees it as this is real and I need to help her. Clearly, Beck herself is driven by the need to feel needed, to feel important. We are driven by our deepest desires, and I guess that's Beck's, to feel like she means something to someone. So when Peach is almost exiting, but all she needs is Beck, she's playing right into that. How someone, when they are struggling, they actually lean on Beck. Maybe something she always wanted to feel when it comes to her dad. Joe also gets it.
I understand without a shadow of a doubt. Peach wins.
He is back at his place and he cannot get rid of the image of Peach and Beck getting it on? How is he supposed to compete with someone so effed up as Peach? Like, she literally faked unaliving herself so she could get back. Like, that's a real psycho. Yeah, somehow Joe forgets that he is the one who is killing other people in the name of Beck, but that's different. Oh, he's protecting Beck. And that's the thing. It all makes sense. It's so clear. Like, Joe tried to be a perfect boyfriend. He tried to be a perfect friend.
And it wasn't enough, so to hell with it.
It feels good knowing where Beck stands and what he has to do to protect her. But right now, he needs to clear his head a little bit. You know, it's time for some new plans. So he goes jogging. But Biz, the training paid off because Joe feels good. Like, at the beginning, he was struggling, but now he actually likes it. He feels a sense of ease. He's picking up speed. He feels a sense of strength. And he finally remembers why he even picked up jogging in the first place. It's to get Peach.
This is why I took up jogging.
How did you feel about all of this? Where did you stand when it comes to Peach and Joe? And how do you sympathize with Beck? Do you sympathize with her? Or you're like, Biz, you need to reevaluate. Like, that's the thing. When you keep on having wrong people around yourself, when does the question turn to you? When are you like, I need to figure some shit out? And it's not like just these people just come after me. There are, of course, they can sniff it. It's actually important to realize things. Like, when shit goes down, don't just, continue your life like, okay, an oopsie, and now I continue. I got caught up with this person, blah, blah, blah. Just try to understand yourself better. Try to understand what went wrong. Where could you protect yourself better? For example, did you avoid things? Did you confront them? Did you listen when people showed you who they are? And it's not about victim blaming. It's about you yourself also growing, because when you get in contact with person that are not good for you, there is a better probability to avoid them if you are in tune with your own drivers, with your own needs, and how those fuck you up sometimes, and how to show up for yourself. And as always, trust your individuality.